What's up YouTube, Capital G here. I actually got some agent action for you guys to check out. Agents could be an archetype that, could get some support down the line. Didn't agents get most of their support during 5Ds out of a structure deck? So maybe we could see Konami eventually redo this structure deck and, give it some more power and whatnot. Anyways, we got two duels to check out, and, people forget a lot of times just how powerful the Venus combo still is, getting 3 shine balls from your deck, especially with link summoning. You get basically a link 4 out of 1 monster. We know how the plays with Saryuji used to be. Anyways, first duel is going to be against Amazonist, and gonna go ahead and special summon that Amazonist Spy. This will trigger the pet tiger, I believe, in the graveyard, so it gets to just summon itself for free. Such a good card, by the way, because it can work during either player's turn. Then gonna go for the Amazonist Princess, which is another really strong card because not only is it a search on summon, but then it also counts as Amazonist Queen on the field and in the graveyard. I was so mad that they nerfed this card, man. Amazonist Empress, not only just, I love the artwork of this card. It actually reminds me so much of Leo Dancer just in design, but I was so mad that they nerfed this card from the anime version, which was actually better. Basically, it's very similar, but the anime version was just stronger, and the duel versus the Tyler sisters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Art V. Anyways, gonna go for the copy of that is Earth, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Earth into Transmodify, which gets you your Venus straight from your deck, and then that basically gives you generally a link 4 if you want to go for, I don't know, something like Saryuja. It'll take a couple more steps, but actually not going to go for any type of Halifabrax combos or any of that spamming stuff. Actually going to go for the Pear Shaft Link monster, which is actually kind of cool. And then going to go for Sanctuary of the Sky. This was a really interesting play. Gonna go for Borreload Savage Dragon the hard way. We don't really see this in the meta. Everybody just does this with Halifabrax and Auroradon, so seeing it summon like this is actually just kind of refreshing. But then gonna drop the Master Hyperion. Now this was supposed to be kind of like a way for, I guess, the Amazonist player not to get completely wrecked here, because Amazonist Empress can summon a queen when it's destroyed, so he could easily just summon back his copy of Princess because she counts as queen from the graveyard. And then you could also get a summon off of Amazonist Village, so it was supposed to be fine, but Called by the Grave is going to shut that down. And then if your opponent summons the queen, what is that really going to do? She's just going to probably get destroyed. He will also summon the pet tiger, but I'm not sure why he summoned it in attack mode. You're gonna see that was a clear mistake here. He might actually lose because of that one specific misplay. He's also gonna negate the Amazonist Trap, and then he's going to take that Borreload Savage Dragon, and he says, Cap, I already used my negation. Why don't I just go for number 97 and then go for number 100? And this card is basically a win. I've never seen anyone summon this card without one-shotting their opponent, and even though it's not the easiest thing to one-shot your opponent when you have a 9,000 attack monster, because usually they'll have a big monster that you have to, try to get rid of. If you summon this guy in attack mode, that's going to be a problem. Even though it cannot be destroyed by battle, you still take the damage. That's 8,100, and of course that is an OTK. Second duel versus the Dragma Necros deck, and shame on this Dragma player, man. Shame on him. You sold out. You're trying to play this freaking, Halifabrax Auroradon combo in your deck by splashing in random Despots and Mecha Phantom Beasts, and this is what happens. Sometimes you open with them and they are the bricks, and then you don't, obviously have like more resources that are not these bricks, but those be the bricks sometimes. Anyways, he will get rid of the bricks, which I guess you could kind of say that it didn't matter because at least he was able to get rid of them with Valkyris. However, it's not an explosive turn 1 board. I honestly think this is perfectly fine as a turn 1 field, because you got your opponent's extra deck locked down with the Necros of Unicorn. Then you also have the Dragma Punishment, which can basically pop 2 cards by sending, well, it just pops 1 card in itself, but then you also have the Nethys, which can pop another card. So you have like 3 kind of forms of disruption. I feel like there should be no way your opponent breaks this board so easily, but he's gonna kind of get baited here. So you don't want your opponent obviously going off with the Venus, and he did let him activate the effect. what he should have done here was, and he is going to send Nethys to the graveyard, he pops the copy of Venus, and then he gets the pop from Nethys. The problem is, why does he pop Sanctuary in the sky? This card does nothing essentially except stop battle damage involving fairies. This is not a tangible resource that you really care about your opponent having on the field. He should have just popped the Shine Ball, because he's not going to do that, and look what's going to happen. His opponent has the extender, and well, he had another copy of Sanctuary of the Sky, which meant popping it was irrelevant. But yeah, he has the Sanctuary of the Sky. Or Sanctuary in the Sky, or the Transmodify, I'm trolling. He has the Transmodify, which means that he can actually continue comboing, and even though he doesn't go for Boral Sword or Boral Savage Dragon and stuff like that, he's still able to drop Master Hyperion and have 4 fairies in the graveyard, which means Archlord Christia can come out to play. And generally speaking, if you're playing a ritual deck and your opponent gets Christia on board, it's just GG no re. I mean, you don't really have any normal summons that can deal with this. We're not in the days of Necros format where people are playing DD Warrior Lady and Bullblader and stuff like that. So you basically don't have an out to this. Maybe you got impermanence, but outside of that, you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because rituals historically don't have very good normal summons, because, you know, ritual monsters are special summons. So he's going to end up scooping it up. The Dragma side of the deck obviously cannot handle the Christia, and unless he had another copy of Punishment, I don't really see a way of him being able to out the Christia. Anyways, we'll look at the deck for just a second, and yeah, I think it would be kind of cool if Agents did get another structure deck. I think Konami would probably want to take them in a direction where they're not so Shine Ball reliant, because during 5Ds they used to use Shine Ball for synchro summoning, and now obviously in the Vrains era they use it for link summoning. But I feel like they would have to redo Venus, because keeping Venus related to the Shine Balls, I just feel like that kind of I don't know, it kind of holds the card down to where its only sole utility is basically just with this one card. The rest of the deck is just, you know, a whole bunch of fairy monsters. You're always going to generally use Herald of the Orange Light, because it you know, it's a card that can stop monster effects even in your opponent's hand or on the field, or, you know, wherever they activate them, not like Effect Veiler and stuff that only hit stuff on the field. Now, since you do burn through your deck so quickly, whether it be discarding from Herald of the Orange Light or the Mystic Shine Balls, you can just use Pot of Avarice to try to recover those resources. Heck, I think even Honest and things like Ash Blossom can be thrown in there, because Honest is a card where you're trading advantage for damage, so, you know, it's a -1, but, well, nah, depends on if you destroy your opponent's monster, which most of the time you will. You know, in Ash, these are cards that just hit the graveyard really quickly. And then you also have this guy right here, Zeradias. You discard it and then search the Sanctuary. So I guess so much of this deck just hits the graveyard like ASAP, and the only time you're really banishing is with Master Hyperion. So I think you're perfectly fine running a few copies of Avarice. Anyways, if you guys are interested in the build, of course, it will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.